West Side's pretty unique. I mean, it's kind of a cross of old-timers that, you know, have lived here from generation to generation and grew up in St. Paul on the west side. And then you have a very large immigrant population, large Latino population reside on the west side. But in recent years, we've seen a very large influx of Hmong and Somali, East African, Oromo. If there's problems on the west side, it's typically a specific home, or it's a specific pocket, and it's usually typically the residents within that are causing the issue. You know, it's not rundown homes, it's not neglect of the neighborhood, it's not lack of policing, it's not, you know, it typically stems from whoever moves in and out, and typically it's transitional. Sure, but I remember one of the command staff telling me this, that it's like the second safest area of the city to live in, next to Highland Park. A lot of this area up here near the Cherokee area, I mean, these are nicer homes. We've seen, you know, an influx of burglaries, but it's not limited to this area over here closer to the bluff. A lot of them are daytime. Overnight you're going to get more like garage burglaries. This area down here, kind of off of Plato, north of Cesar Chavez, kind of is your beginning stage of the west side, and it's predominantly, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much all industrial.
Do you do much patrolling out here, just proactive patrolling?
Not a ton. Well, the only need, yeah, funny you say that, the only need has been typically on weekends during the spring, summer, fall months. We get what we call racers, and it's young kids anywhere from teenage up into their middle 30s and 40s that like to soup up their, you know, Toyota Tercels and Honda Civics, and they'll try to sprint up and down. They'll go down the street here a lot, and it's dangerous. I mean, we typically try to crack down on them when it occurs, because there's been several serious accidents. I remember one accident I had to clean up. The racer hit a minivan and the woman was like 6 months pregnant. You'll get some of the homeless that'll kind of migrate this way. A lot of time they'll hang under the bridges here. But it's not a huge thing on the west side. The only other major thing with this bridge, with the Smith Bridge, is we'll get a lot of calls on jumpers. It's kind of, you know, it's the highest bridge in St. Paul, you know, and we'll get calls for it on a weekly basis. This is Cherokee Park. It overlooks St. Paul. There isn't a lot of problems up in this area. A lot of people walk their dogs. A lot of people utilize Cherokee Park here. This takes you into the Harriet Island area, Raspberry Island, which used to be called Navy Island. We get calls about skateboarders coming down here, you know, trying to use this as a ramp for a launch. But really, I mean, crime-wise, you get theft from autos, maybe, you know, people breaking into cars, and that's about it. Castillo Park here used to be just full of homeless and intoxicated people. This last summer it was very slow. There wasn't a lot. Last summer was not as busy. I mean, each year it's kind of improved. Water Street here runs along the bottom of the bluff. We'll get calls down here to where the public boat launch is. We'll get calls of cars loitering and stuff like that. Crosby Park was kind of a known hangout for a while, prostitution and stuff like that. Solicitation, yep. And so we'll get a little bit of that down here at Lilydale. And then, you know, you still have the gang issue. There's lots of people that want to claim the west side as their territory. I'd say the predominant gangs that have been over here for many years, Latin Kings, they've been around for quite a while. The BFL, Brown for Life, was kind of a homegrown gang over here.
Any night spots that you get a lot of calls at? Or
when Mazatlan was open, yeah, they attracted a lot of problems. We'd have gang issues, we'd have underage drinking. We'd have bar fights almost every weekend. The problem, when one bar closed, then the problem just kind of migrated down the street. And so then the problem started migrating up to Winners, which was a family-owned bar. And Winners was like, we're done. And so they closed the doors. Not only did Winners get problems, but South St. Paul's bars started getting a lot more action and a lot more attendance. And they were asking us, what'd you guys close up? This area here is all public housing on Congress. We don't have too many problems and stuff. And mainly because if people get in trouble over here, they risk losing their housing.
And next to it?
This is the backside of the Wellstone Center. It's utilized really well. There's a food pantry in here.
Safe, well staffed.
Yes. And they do a good job of cooperating with us